Welcome back to Today on SCV. Winfrey, that was a very interesting interview. Thank you for that. In the building right now, we have someone very entertaining, but not entertaining in the way that you might expect. She is an accounting professional. She goes by the name Jovita Madojemu. Are you ready for our interview on Today on SCV?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so welcome to the show. This is your first time. Here's a little round of applause as we do.
Thank you.
I know you're an accounting professional. You've been in this business for how many years is that?
2016 was when I started my company, but I studied accounting since 2005. Yes.
So that's about 14 years in the game, so to speak.
Yeah.
And this is something that's really interesting because we've been talking about entrepreneurship today.
Okay.
And you have a focus when it comes to accounting for MSMEs, so micro, small, and medium enterprise. I think that's brilliant because a lot of people aren't really going in that micro region where you have quote unquote petty traders getting help. Okay. How does your company, how does your professionalism, how does that save these people?
Okay, well, so you talked about the micro, there's the medium, there's the small. Okay, for the micro people, I think what we're really focusing on is capacity development. So we have sessions where we come in and we train them in terms of how to watch out for their costs, their prices, and all of that. Okay,
so that means you know exactly what to do if someone's business isn't making money.
Yes, we know what to look at. Okay, so we try to track how the business has been going in terms of the different transactions that have been going on. For those who are the small and medium, those are the ones we actually do the accounting proper for, in terms of taking on their transactions, using an accounting software, and giving them the financial reports that they need for decision making. Yes.
So that's really this is why I need some help understanding.
Okay.
Okay, so there are people who set up businesses, they don't fully know how to keep their books.
Okay.
And so some situations happen where they don't know when they've broken even or they don't know if that business is running at a loss. You come as a solution for something like that. Is that correct?
Exactly.
So how do you spot those financial mishaps and how do you advise?
Okay, well, so I think I would say that the first thing we try to do is to even understand whether they're keeping source documents. So there are several kinds of source documents. So you have invoices for tracking sales, then you have receipts for payments and payment vouchers and things along those lines, right? So we use all of that to try and prepare the accounts so that we can track your revenue versus your expenses. Now, so a guy who wants to know whether he's breaking even will have to go into the expense components first of all. What's your cost of sales like, and what are your overheads? So overheads are the things people don't really focus on.
Is there any other way you can talk about this stuff without using accounting terminology?
Okay, well, I mean break it down in terms of illustration. So so first, for instance, a guy who is selling phones, let me just use him as an example. He buys his phone for 50,000 naira and he sells it for 80,000 naira, right? So there's a 30,000 naira difference. He's excited that he has made 30,000 naira, but really his excitement is too soon because he hasn't factored in the other overheads involved in running his business. And by overheads, I'm talking about things like his rent for his store. You have internet subscription, you have diesel, you have fuel, you have delivery expenses and all of that. So if he's making 30,000 on each phone, the question will be, how many phones do I need to sell to cover those other costs? So imagine that all those other costs came to 300,000, right? And he sells 12 phones.
So you have to divide
12, so first of all, 12 times the 30,000 he's making, that's 360,000 naira. 360,000 minus those overheads that came to 300,000.
Quick maths.
Yes.
Okay.
It becomes 60,000 naira. Because he said I should break it down, so that's what I'm trying to do. So essentially, on each phone, what he's making is 60,000 divided by 12, which is 5,000 naira. So his initial jubilation was too soon, like I was trying to say. So in that case, we need to factor in both your, like I said, direct cost, that's the cost of purchasing the phone, and the indirect cost in ascertaining how well you are doing as a business. Okay, so if you've not factored in your overhead, there's a tendency that you're going to underprice, you know, and then that's how businesses make losses most times.
So you've pretty much broken down, our last guest was talking about revenue models, and you pretty much broke down how those work, so to speak. But when it comes to accounting, for example, there are lots of new innovations. There are new apps that come with phones now, so that it's more accessible to people.
Okay, so
what do you think about this?
Now the thing about those apps, I think that those apps really, in most cases, they're focusing on invoicing. Now, invoicing only affects what your sales and maybe your customers, right? But there are other elements to your accounts. There's the assets, the liabilities, the equity, income, and expenses. So I usually suggest that you use a more robust accounting software. And there are a few that are pretty popular. You've heard of QuickBooks, you've heard of Sage. Yeah. So, but if you're
are those business secrets?
No, they're not business secrets. Hey,
everyone has access to
those softwares, they've been around for over 30 years. So so they are dependable. They have a robust support ecosystem, and I believe that that's what people should be using, so that you have the full view of your account, not just your sales. Because another mistake that many people make is looking at sales in isolation. Okay, so you need to understand my sales versus my cost. What is it looking like? I shouldn't just be excited because I've sold 1 million. What if my expenses are 2 million?
Fair, yeah.
So using those accounting software helps to actually see the full view of your business, not just sales alone. Yes.
So pretty much this is where Pundit comes in. You come into businesses, you help them identify their financial challenges, and you help them with bookkeeping, so to speak.
Exactly.
So how, apart from finding the imbalances, how else can you help people face financial challenges?
Okay, beautiful. So recently a client of ours was talking about taking a loan from an individual. And so he was taking 2 million from the individual. That was the plan. And he was supposed to give the individual 100,000 naira monthly. And I said, no, you can't do that. Because that's 5% monthly, which is 60% per annum. You are not making net margins of 60% per annum. And that's how people get into trouble. So we bring in that intelligence in advising people in terms of the kind of financing they should take so that they don't hurt themselves ultimately. Yes.
Yeah, because that's a regular situation in Nigeria, I've heard, where there's a situation where the overheads, entrepreneurs are struggling just to pay staff just by the end of the month and situations like that. So what other ways can those types of things be, foreseen?
Okay. So are you talking about foreseeing your challenges?
Foreseeing, being prepared for situations like that. When I know the last guest talked about financial models and revenue models. Situations where you can, stop a certain amount of expenditure when a certain amount of
so that will be working with budgets, really. Okay, and then you really don't know what you're spending if you're not tracking. Okay, so that's why tracking is key, that's why bookkeeping is key. So for instance, if I wanted to take on new staff, because I feel that they're going to bring in some changes, I need to go and check our books. I need to check our accounts to say, okay, do we have sufficient, margins to accommodate this additional cost? And if we don't, then we need to pause on that action and then grow to the level where we can accommodate them. So budgeting is key. Work with budgets so that you don't overextend yourself. The other thing we try to tell entrepreneurs is pace your spending. There are many things good to have in business. You don't have to have all of them today at once. Okay, small example. You're in an office space. You feel you should have a nice TV so that your staff can relax. Now, it's a good thing, but can you afford it right now? Why not wait maybe a few months down the line when we've accumulated some money and then we can take care of it?
So you help with that as well, milestones, goal setting, so to
exactly.
Speak? Okay.
So
and
it's
how
forecasting.
Achievable forecasting.
Yes. So that all comes into play because we have studied your trends, so we know what can work and at what particular time. Of course, there are some other things that we may not be able to predict. There could be new competition coming into town that could just take up all your customers. You might not be able to predict that, but which is why also you need to store. I tell people, don't eat everything you've made in your business today.
Stack that.
Because we have assumed that business is always going to be this beautiful. There could be shocks. You should be able to absorb those shocks when they come. Okay, so a new customer in town, he's got bigger financing, so he can cut down his prices, and then you are kind of
Thank you so much, Jovita, for all this excellent information. I think I'm going to start another business just because of you. And we'll talk, right?
Beautiful.
How can people reach you on social media?
At Pundit BK. That's PUNDITBK.
Okay.
And then also on Twitter.
Do you give out these tips online as well?
Oh, yes. If you go to our Instagram page, we have loads of them. We have videos and all of that.
Oh, brilliant.
So these days, I'm trying to see, am I not giving out too much? But hey, it's okay.
Don't say we didn't give you anything, make sure you hit us up at Silverbird TV with the hashtag Today on STV, and you can say thank you there too if you like.
Yes.
Thank you to Jovita. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Today on STV is not going anywhere. What we are about to show you now is something quite exciting for people like me who love gaming. This was an amazing event. It was enthralling. Let me not say too much. I'll just let you watch and check how it went. We'll be right back after that.